Late afternoon kickoff. News from their respective divisions will have filtered through, I'm sure. But this is the FA Cup. This is Wembley. And this is Mino Figueroa to Jean Beausejour. Keogh. Quite a call-up for Jimmy Abdu, who's been at Millwall for a amount of years, but hasn't been in the team that much recently. Chris Taylor here is in his first season with the club. Well, the ball was in the air a long time. As a former defender, would you have expected the goalkeeper to come and make that a bit easier?
It certainly helps. Half a chance for Kelly. It's difficult for him because Alcaraz spots the danger, as he often does. Ball gets floating. It's a difficult one for him to try and control the head of Keogh. But that's what I think Millwall should be looking to do. Get the ball early on into that Wigan box, test them out very early, see if they really relish the fight, that aerial battle.
David Ford is in the Millwall goal, and big games, not such a stranger to him. He's now the #1 for the Republic of Ireland and playing in World Cup qualifiers. Shana. And it might just break Wigan's way here. Jordi Gomez, it was a terrific block. Beausejour kept it alive. Here's Figueroa. Kone waiting in the middle. McManaman. He's going to have to live with this for a while, and still at the fledgling stages of his career, but was in the publicity machine, really, I guess we should say, for a tackle in a recent Premier League game against Newcastle, which was untidy. He might say nervous. He's a player who does have problems settling down for big games, but the more he plays in them, I'm sure the better he'll become. Newcastle, well, the opponents in that match made a bit of a fuss of it, and I think everybody who's come here today backing Millwall knows a little bit about Callum McManaman. That probably isn't the essence of his game. Shana. Might well have a contrast in styles here. We've certainly got a contrast in formations. Here's Beausejour. McCarthy. Shana. Wigan trying to put some early passes together here and put their stamp on the semi-final early. Tied up by Smith. Here's Shana. In tune with either Boyce coming from the right wing-back position or Kone through the middle.
Interesting enough on the formation, Martin, that Wigan have actually started with a back four at the moment, so they're pretty fluid with the way that they play ahead of them, but they have started with a back four, with Boyce playing at right back and Shana, Alcaraz the centre halves and Figueroa at left back. But they're all comfortable on the ball, they'll all be encouraged to pass the ball. Just be interesting for me to know, I'm sure Millwall will have watched the QPR game that Wigan played in and how they struggled against 10 men that were sat in behind the ball. I'm sure they'll have taken something from that into this game today.
And how difficult Wigan found it when they, even in the context of one game, were elevated from underdogs to favourites. Marvellous free kick by Sean Maloney, getting them a point. Virtually the last kick of the game. Backed by Alan Dunn, who was in the Millwall squad when they got to the FA Cup final 9 years ago, was a substitute, didn't get on. If they get through today, he'll expect to play on the big day next month. Boyce captaining Wigan. Gary Caldwell is amongst the substitutes, hasn't been in the side recently. James Henry striving here to the ball into a sort of area where Wigan might just be vulnerable. Well defended by Shana. Here's Dunn. Figueroa was fouled. It won't be a corner. It'll be a free kick to Wigan.
He's been quite clever there, Figueroa. Just managed to buy a free kick in a dangerous position. Takes the touch, feels the player coming. Just happened to get brushed slightly. Not a great deal of contact. Just enough to fool the referee's assistant, really. Wigan a bit of respite, but certainly those set pieces are going to be critical. We're going to be forced to defend them all afternoon. That could be a key area for them.
Shana. Kone can't keep it. Forward early by Dunn. And that's what Keogh's got to do. He's got to make himself available. He got there first and he got a free kick, and it's another chance for the side from the lower division to put on a bit of pressure here. Sean's at ledger there. He's probably still working out the names of his teammates. He, like Ford and Keogh, internationals with the Republic of Ireland. It's a long way out. It's set up for Danny Shittu. He scored a couple of goals in this cup run, including the winner at Blackburn in the quarter-final replay. He's a monster of a man.
Yeah, it certainly is. As I mentioned in the build-up, an ex-teammate of mine at Watford. He's certainly matured now, captaining this side today. Good captaincy as well, that, taking all the free kicks from 40 yards, isn't it?
Figueroa going in. Beausejour. Neat and tidy from Maloney, as it often is. Here's McCarthy. Kone coming short. Here's Boyce instead. Millwall have only conceded one goal in this run to the semi-final, and that was against the Premier League side when they knocked out Aston Villa in round 4. McManaman.
You can't reach this level without being a good side, you know, being competent. You can't fluke it through to an FA Cup semi-final. They're well organised. Kenny Jackett, what a reputation he's got in the game, his thoroughness of preparation, and that's certainly reflected in his team and the way that they've started here.
Well, they broke through in the quarter-final at Everton. Wigan with a corner from the right-hand side, which Figueroa headed in. McCarthy sweeping it wide to Maloney. Now McManaman. Maloney. Kone really trying to get in, and there was some promise in that. Millwall crowded out the Scot. On by Henry, who's done well to make it. He's a scorer in the 5th round at non-league Luton. But has missed most of the football since then. They had a bad result in midweek in the Championship. They lost at home to strugglers Sheffield Wednesday, having been the dominant force in the match. And sometimes put that down to semi-finalitis. Kenny Jackett didn't, he was livid. Beausejour is outside Maloney, who can shift it onto his right foot and shoot, but went onto his left side, crossed and has won a corner.
Just the first signs of where McManaman and Maloney get on the ball in wide areas, that Millwall can just be a bit stretched with that width. These are the sort of situations that we're going to be looking to exploit, the one-on-one situations for their trickier players.
Beausejour will take the corner. This is Boyce trying to keep it alive. Oh, clear, more than that. Might have set up a counter-attack here with Henry. Keogh charging through the middle. Taylor, rather. Keogh's got into the middle. But that's maybe a little cameo of how we expect the match to be played. Millwall picking their moments to counter-attack.
Well, they just won't know very much about Wigan, the players. Obviously, the manager will have had reports, but the players won't have seen too much of Wigan, so they won't know exactly what they're up against, either formation-wise or individually. So it'll take them some time to work it out as well. But when they have that sort of opportunity, what a great chance they have to exploit it.
Just got a glimpse a moment or two ago of not a member of Kenny Jackett's coaching staff, but Michael Calvin, a highly regarded football reporter who's been following Millwall and writing books about them, and is regarded as something of a lucky charm. And to his surprise and delight, Kenny Jackett asked him to come and be part of the day. I think he's keeping his laptop out of the way, at least till half-time. We'll have an individual account to tell of this day in Millwall's history.
It might be his last, though, unfortunately, if the lucky charm status goes after this game.
Or he might be back for the final. Guaranteed if they win, isn't it?
Yeah, wrap him up in cotton wool until then, for sure.
Can Kone get there first? He might. Ford's got a piece of it. And all Wigan get in the end is a corner. David Ford in a bit of distress.
Well, he's done well. It's a bit of slack play, slack pass in the middle of the park, and Maloney just puts the ball into a dangerous area, and it's brave goalkeeping. Eventually gets clipped by Beavers as he comes through and goes to ground. The weight of the pass is great. It gives Kone a chance on the charge. Good defending, brave goalkeeping. There's the collision. He just gets caught by Kone's trailing boot on the side of the head. Just sit there and collect his thoughts.
The substitute goalkeeper for Millwall, incidentally, is a 41-year-old Mike Taylor. Played a lot of top-level football, international himself at the other part of Ireland, Northern Ireland.
Yes, played against him many times. I'm 41 myself as well, and my only service to goalkeeping would be that I'd fill a lot of the goal now, I think. That would be about as good as it would get from me. So full credit to him for his professionalism. I'm sure that David Ford has benefited from that experience daily as well.
Well, Tess, the goalkeeper, has just been shaken up. They don't do it the obvious way. One from the training ground. Probably has worked better in the past.
It's certainly the conditions for putting the ball into the box low. It's horrible for defenders when it's skiddy and slippery surface. You've got a lot of bodies in and around you.
McCarthy. Alcaraz, who's only recently back for Wigan. Most of the first half of the season. McCarthy. Kone with a dozen goals to his name, as Matt's been saying. He's proved an eye for the chance that it would be ironic if they didn't stay up this year, given the goals that he's produced. Other Wigan teams have struggled for regular scorers. Jordi Gomez has certainly got a goal in him from midfield. McCarthy. And it's turned aside from McManaman. Probably a comfortable height for David Ford, but after just being shaken up a bit, he'll be pleased to have kept that out. Wigan wasting no time taking the corner and getting at Millwall again.
It's certainly a comfortable height. Sees the ball all the way, David Ford. The one thing that Wigan will be pleased about is that they were patient in the build-up. Got some passes in, a game at Manaman. coming in off the line, involved to pick up the ball, and that they have to have that fluidity. If you're going to play against a formation that's fairly static, wants to be defensive, you have to be patient in possession, but also quick with your movement and clever with the way that you move the ball around and you rotate round each other in that formation.
Kone. There's a mistake or a foul. It's the latter. Like Oliver coming to Shauna's rescue.
And it is a rescue as well. I think he's lucky. It might be that there's a bit of contact, but you don't take this chance when you're centre-half. OK, there's a little bit of a grab at the arm, but that's untidy, and he's lucky. He's really lucky.
Alcaraz. Here's Boyce. Kone. Figueroa, who certainly has it in his locker to score from that sort of distance. Famously scored in the Premier League from inside his own half against Stoke City a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's never really balanced over that shot.
Wigan win over Millwall at the old Wembley in 1999. It was a very tight match. A very late winner from Paul Rogers for Wigan. Two Wigan claims for handball, not given. And he's all hustle and bustle, Andy Keogh. He's run out of room, in fact, but again, making sure that at the back we can get no time to relax.
It's a really difficult afternoon for him. When he plays up on his own, he has to be careful with how he does his running. I'm sure Kenny Jackett may have said to try and stay within the confines of the penalty area. Don't run wide too often, because otherwise he'll be utterly exhausted before he even starts to get any sort of service. He may have to sacrifice himself for the team a little bit today, but it's vital that he holds the ball up on any occasion it does come up to him.
Well, he's been preferred to Rob Hulse, the more experienced campaigner, who's on loan from Queen's Park Rangers. Also been dropped to the bench.
Probably on mobility, I would say. With all due respect to Rob Hulse, who's been a great pro over the years, I just think Keogh will run the channels if required that little bit more.
Alcaraz taking the chance to step out from the back. Here's Jordi Gomez. Kone. McCarthy. McManaman. Is he really as nervous as everybody says?
He's a very quiet lad. I mean, he's actually dealt with the whole furore around the tackle fantastically well, because it was certainly out of character. You know, he's not a natural defender, he's not a naturally defensive player, so it was out of character in that respect, but he's not a nervous type. He certainly has done well since he's come into the team, but that would have been a massive test for him.
Maloney's corner. And the header back to Gomez. Here is McManaman. Now, there was the story about Callum McManaman that the fifth round he wasn't told till about 2 hours before kickoff that he was playing, because he'd been told the night before he wouldn't have slept. Got that from the manager, so there must be something in it.
Yes, he's an honest man. But that just shows the level of management as well, doesn't it? Just shows the detail that the decision makers go to at the top of football clubs, to know each individual so well, know the little nuances, the traits, what works for them best on a match day.
Not dealing with Keogh. Habsy. One surprise when the Wigan team was read out was that he was picked in goal, because Joel did play in the quarter-final, but I guess since then has impressed the manager enough, and Wigan aren't the only Premier League club to use their backup goalkeeper in the cup ties, and Habsy, of course, for a long time their first choice goalkeeper, is now in the backup position, and he's playing at Wembley, so it's not all bad. Henry, who learnt his trade at Reading. Reading, one of the clubs below Wigan, of course, in the Premier League. They're only drew today. Queen's Park Rangers also below them. Lost. Aston Villa only drew at home to Fulham, which will probably be seen in the Wigan camp as a happy result. Not quite as happy as a home defeat for Villa, but you get my drift. Other candidates to fall into the relegation zone play tomorrow: Sunderland and Stoke. Figueroa. So 20 minutes gone. It's the occasional slack moment from Wigan, and in the cup games, even if you don't have much of the ball, and Millwall haven't had too much of it, you can certainly pay a heavy price for carelessness. McManaman takes one there from Sean St Ledger.
He's got a deceptive turn of pace. He does that a lot, just gets that final, vital last touch very often. Has a step over as well, which gets defenders into trouble. And St Ledger makes that tackle thinking fully that he's getting the ball. There's nothing malicious about it. Yes, once he has that contact, he goes into the book. He deserves to go into the book. Nothing malicious, but McManaman does that to defenders. He's got something about him. He's quicker than he actually appears.
St Ledger playing in midfield when most of his football's been played in the back four. Makes an interception here. Gives the ball all the way to Shana. Of course, was with Wigan when they got to the League Cup final 7 years ago. Beausejour. Kone. He's only scored in one game this season. Quite close enough to let fly at Wembley. There he is again. Beausejour, Figueroa gets ahead of him. Rolls reverse now. McCarthy. Pressure by Wigan, but it's been played in front of Millwall. And it leads in the end to a mistake, although Dunn clearly feels Beausejour made much of pretty minimal contact.
It was minimal contact, but it was silly. Didn't need to do that. Ball's played into him at an awkward height. He has to get it under control. He can't turn. Don't give away the free kick.
Boys coming around the back. Good authority by Ford. Tells its story, doesn't it? But the stat that matters is at the top of your screen: Millwall 0, Wigan 0.
Yes, the only stat that matters in cup final football is that end result. And in their own way, Millwall will be delighted really, because they've been fine, they've been comfortable up to now.
Kone, Paul Maloney! Unmarked, unerring. So the possession has been turned into penetration. And those who've made the much longer journey to Wembley from the northwest of England are really happy here.
And it comes from a relatively long pass in Wigan terms. Good play from Kone. He's done this well all season, holds the ball up. And he's just clever with his vision. Clearly onside, pulling off the shoulder of a defender. You can't leave them as last man, and it's just clever play. Concentration in the finish. Make sure you get a good contact on the ball. Wigan deservedly ahead, no chance at all for Ford. And now Millwall will have to decide, do they come out, do they try and contain Wigan continually now, do they change their formation?
Well, back-to-back goals for Wigan Athletic, for Sean Maloney. One rescued a priceless Premier League point at Queen's Park Rangers in London on Sunday. And here he is the following Saturday with a Premier League quality finish.
Yeah, but it's a great ball. This is about knowing where players are going to be. Kone doesn't really look up, he just puts the ball into a dangerous area. It's great movement from Maloney. A little bit of inexperience in that back four from Millwall, because there's only one player up there, should be marked. That's a big blow for them.
In their first FA Cup semi-final. And they've scored their first goal at this elevated stage of the competition. Here's Taylor. Spent a good number of years with Oldham. Just needed a little bit more quicker reaction, really, from Henry, who was well found.
He's got to strike it there. Doesn't need that touch, does he? The first touch he takes is actually a good one. The second one has to be a shot.
Well, in the shape of the match, you can't say Wigan don't deserve their lead. Millwall, maybe, as you were suggesting, Matt, will become more emboldened, really, in their approach. They're certainly trying to press higher up the pitch. And Wigan do like to play from the very back, so there have been a couple of errors that have gone unpunished so far. But Maloney and Kone, the two at the heart of the opening goal, attack Millwall again. Shitu thinks that should be a goal kick, but corner's given.
It was actually good defending from Dan Shitu. He wouldn't really like to see Maloney running at him in a one-on-one situation. Well, he's a pretty wide man to have to run round.
Well, it's a must for Millwall. They mustn't concede again. Not so soon after going 1-0 down. Ford has to cover that. It was Paul Sharner who just hooked it goalwards.
He doesn't get a really great contact, so there's not a great deal of pace, but look at all the bodies. That's the problem for the goalkeeper. Doesn't see it till late.
Done. As we've stressed, Millwall really have been making steady, if not spectacular, progress in the Championship, and obviously spectacular progress in the FA Cup by defending very well. And now they need to address what has been their biggest worry of the season. Where are they going to get a goal from? Well, a corner maybe. And Dan Shitu is difficult to stop if the ball's put into his sort of area.
Well, I'm sure they've done an awful lot of work on these set-piece situations, trying to find him a way to get isolated in that box, in that Wigan box.
And the centre-back, Mark Beevers, is up as well. Henry takes, but Michael Oliver not quite set for it yet. Spotted a bit of jiggery-pokery around the goalkeeper. Maybe a bit of reaction. Andy Keogh trying to make a nuisance of himself. Any sort of knockdown they'll try and fasten on to. It's well met. There's Lowry who came up from the back throw to Millwall. Yeah, Chris Taylor coming in. And while you look for the big men, an opportunity for others to sneak into potential goal-scoring positions. Well, the header was blocked in the end. Represent encouragement for Kenny Jackett. Alcaraz. Bosajur, challenged by Dunn. Abdu gets a foot in. Away by Boyce. The width of Wembley. The ball finally did go out.
Wigan will certainly be happy to use all of the width of Wembley now. Onus not on them to score. That's what makes it tough for Millwall, because Wigan will continue to pass the ball, continue to try and dominate the possession, but without really needing that second goal that, yes, of course, they would want one. It's not now of paramount importance.
Maloney. Of course, there have been a couple of really high-scoring FA Cup semi-finals in the last 2 years. Stoke 5, Bolton 0. Chelsea 5, Tottenham 1. Sharma's header. Jimmy Abdu. Comes from Comoros, an island in the Indian Ocean, where they will be glued to their televisions. Here's Bosajur all forward. In the end, he did not make up his mind very quickly, and he still got there.
Well, he had to improvise, but he looked fully in control of the situation once he'd made that decision to come.
Millwall's throw. Done. Wigan have won after a replay at Bournemouth, then at Macclesfield, at Huddersfield, at Everton. And here they are, 1-0 up at Wembley. Beavers. It's graft against craft at the moment.
Strange enough, I think the Wigan fans have taken some heart from that run that you've just mentioned, Martin, in the fact that to go away and win at Bournemouth, who were flying high at the time, and still flying out, but flying high, to go to Macclesfield, these are all potential games that Wigan have lost in the past. I remember in my time losing at home to Canvey Island and the like. You know, they have got a record of losing those games, and actually the performances they gave on the road in those tricky ties have given real heart to the whole club.
Kone has shown that he can make goals as well as take the chances created for him by others. McCarthy. Shana, who's one of the great individual personalities in top flight football. Alcaraz.
That's a long way of saying eccentric.
Just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. The game shaping up, I'm sure, as most of you expected. And the scoreline going to form as well, but Millwall's still very much in this. As Matt said earlier, you don't get this far in this competition without having a bit more than just true grit. Draw dropped a couple of places in the Championship, down to 18th. And the results in that division today. Games in hand. Tenacity is required and might jolt Wigan out of their stride. They can play a bit as well, as they're about to show here. Jack Smith coming into the middle, Taylor trying to find him. And Wigan just having to plug one or two gaps, and I'm not sure they did actually plug them then.
Well, Emerson Boyce does very well. It comes across from his fullback position to sweep up at centre-half, and it was the best passage of play for Millwall. Got 3 or 4 quick passes in, and then a good ball into the box.
Henry wins Millwall a corner. And a corner is certainly one avenue for recovery here.
Sometimes going behind in a game actually removes the pressure from you. Nobody wants to be behind, but you hang in there, you set yourself up defensively not to concede. Once you have conceded, well, you know at some point you've got to go and score, so it does free you up to go and attack a bit.
It's over Shitu, which is good news for Wigan. A couple of missed kicks. The attempt to counter-attack annoyed particularly Callum McManaman, who's not in your picture, actually in the other half of the pitch, who was in a position where, had he been able to be found, I think he'd have fancied his legs against the limited Millwall defence at that stage. It's not limited now, of course, it's regrouped, so to use that sometimes expression that does upset some viewers, and I do understand that. It was a good foul for the team.
Yeah, well, he does well, Mark B, because he makes the contact, but he's half stumbling himself, so he's managed to give away the foul and actually hasn't been booked, which is very often the outcome of those sorts of cases.
Lovely flick by Beausejour. Gomez trying to cash in on any uncertainty at the back in the Championship club. Done by Abdu. A little bit better pressure. Maybe they're a couple of yards further up the pitch, Millwall, since they've gone behind. Engaging that central third, which they found difficult to do. Wigan are getting 70% plus in terms of possession. Lowry was born in Australia. Kane waiting in the middle. You could see the difficulty. It's the difference between the kind of play they play against week in, week out in their division, Millwall, and the liveliness of Premier League attackers. But only a corner conceded. You can see, not the first, not by any means. Figueroa can't get there. Chased down by Boyce. Successfully. Beausejour bring it back into the penalty area quickly. Wigan certainly had a lot of players still forward. Now Maloney. Be a splendid time for Wigan to get a second. It's an ambitious try. Alcaraz. Gomez, who did let fly from a long range a few seconds ago. Scored the 3 goals in this FA Cup run. Also has a Premier League hat-trick to his name. McCarthy. Gomez again. choice. I haven't seen anyone try to do that in a wide position for Wigan as a defender since you stopped playing that.
Well, I'm not sure Boyce is any more qualified to do it, and I certainly wasn't qualified to do it. So, well, Paul Jewell, who we both played for, definitely wouldn't have encouraged either of us to go down that route.
No offside. Kone. 5 minutes left in the first half. Bosajur. Kone. McManaman. See what he was trying to do, but never quite got set for it.
Well, they fashioned the chance really well again, though, Wigan. Quick, intricate play. Bosajur coming in for the first time off the line. The ball just doesn't quite sit down. You can see the goal, just that movement off the shoulder. That's the bits that players aren't used to. Stepping up a level of quality. We're expecting international players, which Sean Maloney is, to make that sort of move. Fine finish.
Only about a year ago, back, Sean Maloney was only a sub game after game after game, and kept being told, oh, your chance would come, but it never seemed to come. I remember I was at a game at Norwich. He came on and did really well, and hasn't looked back. He's been pretty much a regular since then. So he had a bit of convincing to do to Roberto Martinez. I think today will have helped. Last Sunday certainly will have helped.
Roberto's got a bit of a track record of giving players 6 months or so to really settle in, and he does play a different system, and it is a different way of playing. I think Roberto's argument is that once players go into a team, he wants them in for good. That's the difference, not just in as a one-off and leave them out and they can't cope.
Bosajur back on his feet. He just stayed down for a moment and bang on the back of the head after he'd flicked the ball on. Kone is onside. Support arriving. And beaten away from Jordi Gomez by David Ford. That was pretty similar to the goal he scored at Everton, and he went the other side then and put the ball in the net.
It was all a bit messy, this bit leading up to it, but Kone's good. Holds the ball up and just puts it into an area. There's a little step over, and Gomez does brilliantly at that because he doesn't try and lash the ball. He's so good at it. I'm surprised actually he didn't try and pass that in the bottom corner. That is his forte.
McManaman. Boyce's cross blocked. Wigan in control, but 1-0 you never know, especially in the FA Cup. Took a couple to stop James McCarthy. He's back biting in again, but Jack Smith gets it forward, and there are 3 ahead of him now. Make that 4. Done. Can't get the better of Alcaraz. St. Ledger. Now Beavers. Taylor. He's got some poise about his game, Chris Taylor. Featured prominently in his cup ties. St. Ledger. Hoping it might have been a run for a ball inside Emerson
Bob McCowan. Some call him assertive.
And he goes about his business in success or lack of it with great dignity and style. Talking warmly about his time as a player under Kenny Jackett. Mention the fact that Kenny Jackett actually released him at the end. So he's a true gent. I believe he's the first Spaniard ever to score in the FA Cup in his playing days.
I do still see him in weekly five-a-sides. It wasn't Kenny Jackett's worst decision, don't worry about that.
Here's Keogh. Jordi Gomez took a bit of a chance there. So into the one added minute before half-time.
And just the sloppiness, really, from Wigan. This is at 1-0, you're always vulnerable. Sharma does well in the end, backpedaling. But you do just feel that whenever the ball's got into the box, they haven't been entirely decisive, have they, Wigan? I'm sure Kenny Jackett will try and work on his team, manufacturing those sorts of opportunities in the second half.
But from your point of view, otherwise satisfactory for Wigan Athletic, first period?
Well, they'll be delighted to be ahead, for sure. I think when you've dominated possession, I'm sure Roberto would like another goal as insurance. He'll be pleased. Both managers, I think, in their own way will be pleased, because Everton in the quarter-finals were out of the tie at this point, weren't they? They've been blitzed, the 3 goals had gone in. Millwall certainly haven't been at that stage.
Last few seconds before Michael Oliver brings the first half of the first semi-final this weekend to a close. Maybe time for Dunn to get the ball in the box. The whistle goes for the end of the first 45 minutes, and just in the last couple of minutes, Millwall threatening to show that they've got a bit more to offer in attack, but Sean Maloney with a very classy finish to Aruna Kone's set-up pass. There's a bit of a problem there for St Ledger, who's rolled off the pitch, so the game can go on, which is very generous of him, really. No many a player who'd stay on.
Well, he should actually have more experience. Interesting, actually, that the referee's called the physiotherapist to run onto the pitch in that way, so difficult as well, because they're split. Just catches Gomez on the follow-through, and it just rolls over, and it's just split in between as well onto the AstroTurf, so they won't want to be, they found it hard enough to try and get near the ball with 11. They certainly won't want to be with 10 for very long.
So the loanee from Leicester, who did pick up a yellow card in that first half, is out of the reckoning for the moment. He is back on his feet. Wigan are back on the ball. Figueroa. Touch from Beausejour. St Ledger back on. Shana. Plenty of empty seats, but still excellent atmosphere, particularly at each end of the ground, where most of the Partizan paying customers are. McManaman. Ford read the spin. Wanted to use it quickly, but difficult to do so. The one really on was Keogh, bang down the middle. Beausejour, tops for Danny Shutu. He mentioned former teammate of yours. He'd been admitting to being one of the great dressing room wheeler dealers, buying and selling to players. Did you buy anything from him?
I mean, he was a great character. He did have an assortment of items available at all times to players, but he was a big character. And I'm delighted because he's found a way to kind of transfer that into leadership, which is great now. Kenny Jackett and his team are getting the benefits from that. Boothroyd used to give him a fearful time, used to give him an unbelievable stick, and he actually was a very easy player to play with because he was very much a one-man band on the pitch, and he'd been in some strange places. Now he's got a real discipline and balance to his game.
Keogh, and then Taylor falls for Kone. A little bit of a clip. loosened the left boot.
I think one thing that Roberto will be slightly worried about is that his players look like they're cruising. Not determinedly cruising, but it's easy for them at the moment. And okay, it might be easy for them physically. What he has to ensure is that they stay mentally tuned really right into this game.
Kenny Jackett may well be thinking about a change. He had to leave Liam Trotter out of the starting lineup because of fitness concerns. He's named him on the bench and might feel now he's got to take a risk with him on the pitch.
Yeah, so they've just gone down, stayed down again, holding that same ankle. He's obviously struggling slightly.
McCarthy. Yes, there's a difference between keeping the ball with a purpose and just keeping the ball, and it's the former that you want as a manager. A little bit of the latter in these early minutes of the second half for Wigan. Sharma strides forward here. Kone running the channel. And the Premier League club have a corner.
It's actually very hard to play the game at 2/3 pace. It does make players sloppy. And this is where you need your leaders in the team, your Alcaraz, your Sharmas, to really dictate the pace of the game, to keep people about themselves, make sure that they're doing things properly, passing the ball properly.
Maloney takes. By and large, they've coped well from a succession of first half corners, Millwall. It's unusual, Matt, to see Wigan in a red strip. Yes, they're running out of options with the other change strips. The black kit. Team in red, looking to register again here. A little bit, maybe in the end, self-indulgent from McManaman. Might have been a better avenue to just play it back across the face of the goal. Matt Jackson.
Well, once again, look how quick his feet are. It's the two players dive in. That's not what they used to, but he should be pulling that back. That is selfish. You have to be clinical in those situations. He's fashioned the chance, and he's just got to roll the ball back. Kone in a great position.
Been the teams in blue who have prospered in the FA Cup this season, with Chelsea and Manchester City due here tomorrow in the other semi-final.
Well, to their credit, Millwall actually called right in the toss, so that's why they're wearing this kit. And as you say, it negated both of Wigan's options, so they were left with the third kit. Not altogether the most popular of kits, I have to say.
Well, it will be popular enough if they see a semi-final through in it, but that hasn't been completed yet, despite the 25th minute goal from Sean Maloney, who's floated into these sort of areas to get on the ball a lot. Shana. Maloney again, back to Shana again. Kone. Picked on by Maloney. By Lowry, who had a good few years with Aston Villa without making the breakthrough. Played at age group level for the Republic of Ireland, but he is an Australian. He wants to play his senior football for the country of his birth. Smith. As the ball was played back, was looking to see whether they could build from the back. Millwall, looking to see whether there was an outlet through Alan Dunn on that side. There wasn't, so it went long. As it goes long, it tends to be coming straight back.
Well, they can't get control of that, and unfortunately you don't have control of the ball. You're generally chasing the opposition. That makes things harder for you, and it's not even been difficult for Wigan to win it back. Wigan kind of dictating the pace. Very often it's the other way around for them, and they get tired towards the end of the game when they have been chasing, expending that energy. But Wigan will pass that ball relentlessly, and it gets tough. It's hard mentally, and it's hard physically when you constantly have to chase and the ball gets played around you in those little triangles. Always seems to be a spare man.
Yes, there's not too many teams in the Championship, as we mentioned earlier, who have the same sort of philosophy, but it has happened. Of course, Swansea played their way out of the division. Here goes McManaman. Beavers showing a good turn of foot himself. That's what Ford likes to do, get it out to the full-backs, but Larry was closed down quickly. One thing the Championship does tell you, you keep going. Games come thick and fast, and in games you have to play the full 90 minutes. And Wigan to keep up their approach, their ability to retain the ball and pass it, because there's no question that Millwall will stick at it. One chance for them, or maybe one mistake. We've seen Wigan get away with a couple in the first half. We'll still see a side from the second tier of English football getting into the FA Cup final. Keogh. McCarthy running with him. And that's a goal kick. Millwall fans aren't happy with that. Keogh's not happy with that.
Well, he makes a conscious decision to let the ball run out, but there is a ricochet. He makes the wrong decision because the ball clearly comes off him last. Keogh. He's had a tough afternoon, been very difficult up there on his own. Not much service at all. Fighting for scraps the whole time.
Boyce. Boyce's come in from the left. This is McManaman. Kone further across in the Millwall penalty area. McManaman. Is this the coming together, or is it? No, it's a bit more serious than that, says Michael Oliver. Outside the box.
I think he just changes direction enough so he knows where the ball's going. And it's just what buys him the foul. And again, I just talk about a little bit of an injection of pace. It doesn't look like he's moving particularly quickly, but he picks up so many of those fouls in dangerous areas.
So with England under-20 to the World Cup in 2011, he was one of the last choices. They were scrabbling around for players, in truth. McManaman hardly played any first-team football, but he certainly benefited. It was good that Wigan, unlike other clubs, released him.
And he got to play in 4 0-0s, didn't he, in a row, I think, which was a delight for him.
Gomez or Maloney. It's Gomez. Pushed away by Ford. Back by Beausejour. Out by Dunn. A giveaway by Sean Beausejour. Clearly didn't have a picture of what was on around him. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Every passing moment, of course, is, as it stands, taking Wigan towards a Wembley return. And Kone couldn't quite take it into his stride, but he's kept it with some duress, trying to win a throw out of it unsuccessfully. Wigan coming here on the back of 3 wins and that draw at Queen's Park Rangers on Sunday, and they're on the verge of defeat. So they know the potential in late goals for 1-1, so should keep them vigilant. Beausejour. Gomez. Maloney, Gomez, Kone, stopped by Beavers. Nicely done by Jack Smith. There might be something on here for Millwall. Taylor. He's a confident player and shows that confidence, and he's got himself a free kick and his team a free kick in a very threatening position. Well played, Chris Taylor.
Did really well, full of commitment, good pace. Poor challenge from Boyce, doesn't need to make the challenge. This is a perfect situation. 25 yards out. What an opportunity for Millwall. How they need this.
Habsey hasn't had much first-team football in the last month. plenty of it, of course, in his time with Wigan. James Henry is a leading candidate here. Just keep an eye on the ball, whether it gets moved sideways or simply put down pretty much on the spot, unlike Tiger Woods in the Masters. Henry takes! Puts it over the bar. Need more surges like Taylor's that got them into this position.
Yeah, it's difficult skill, getting that ball down. James MacArthur going to come on, possibly for Gomez, I would imagine. Might be a change that often gets made. Slightly different players.
Well, we're hearing from the far side that it might be Beausejour. I wonder whether he played that strange pass, attempted pass, or just kicked the ball away, possibly feeling out the problem. We'll see when the ball next goes dead.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling, having just looked across at him with that information. Yeah. It's a blow for Wigan because it upsets the balance of the team a little bit. Down, he's a natural left-sider. Interesting to see if Gomez goes out there and MacArthur slots into the middle.
He sent out a bit of a mixed signal then, because he moved away, not really expecting to look around and see the ball up. Either that, or it is, of course, taking a little bit longer to make the substitution. Has been known. They normally go on the other side of the pitch.
I think he was generally hobbling there. That would be a worry for Wigan. It's certainly an integral part of the victory against Everton. That left side really destroyed Everton. Hasn't been that balanced today.
Towards Figueroa. Figueroa's stayed down. Here's Smith. Without their left-sided defender at the moment. It's up to the referee to stop it if he sees fit. And Millwall quite entitled to play on, and indeed Wigan playing on themselves. Figueroa is back on his feet. This is what happened.
He should pick himself up from that. Looks fairly theatrical when he's in the air. It's just the initial contact that the ankle gets caught in. I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine. But McManaman switched out to the left-hand side, so we're going to reshuffle, and Gomez has come across him, interestingly enough, to the right-hand side.
Smith. Kept by Keogh. Smith again. Not for long. James MacArthur is a hard-grafting Scottish international. Get from him is possibly not the best instinctive footballer on the Wigan staff, but he certainly follows managerial instructions and has worked his way up the ladder from playing in Scotland to have a good career in the Premier League and of course in the FA Cup now. It's thinking time for Kenny Jackett, isn't it, Matt?
It is, and he has to pull the trigger at some point, to use a metaphor. He has to decide when to gamble and really go for it. It's thinking time for Roberto as well, though, because he won't want to have his team be part of a game that's drifting, and this game is drifting at the moment. There's no real impetus from Wigan. They're still comfortable enough, but it's just stretching them slightly.
Taylor will do look better when he gets on the ball. Dunn fires it across. That's better from Millwall. Maybe better still. And Taylor had got into a good position in the centre. James Henry looking up the support. Not yet 20 minutes gone in the second half, so there's still plenty of time for Millwall to make their mark on this semi-final. It's too high for Beavers. Murray with the throw. And now with the cross. Oh, well, it would have been an own goal, and Ali Al-Habsi looked horrified as he looked to his left. Beavers in the thick of things.
It's a fantastic cross. To put the ball into a dangerous area, anything can happen. And it's Shana who gets lucky. Can't do anything about it, not his fault. Ball ricochets down and bounces over the bar.
You must say this is Millwall's best spell of the semi-final. Henry's corner. We're getting closer. Jacket is getting ready to make a change. Dan Shitu is excellent in the air, but up a bit early maybe.
Well, it's a fantastic leap. Once he's up there, you're not stopping him either. An absolute bull of a man. Good athlete as well. Strong runner. Certainly scored his fair share of goals from those set-piece situations.
It's Gomez, who has readjusted position since the substitution. Given away. Smith. Losing out. Lowry. Nicely done by Keogh. Henry. Keogh coming in, and Shana needed. Goalkeeper wasn't about to take charge. This good spell continues for Millwall.
It does, and it keeps forcing these set pieces. That's what the pressure does. Wigan definitely on the back foot at the moment.
Shitu coming in. Too many Millwall players going for the same ball. And then Kone was lucky. Lowry just had a stab at it. It was there to make contact with.
It's just a melee. They've got a bigger physical presence. He's lucky, Kone, because he doesn't know the players there. They're the situations where you make a half-rash challenge and give away a penalty as well. So lots of thinking to be done from both managers.
There's the Millwall change. Goes Jack Smith. And on comes a second striker. And Rob Hulse.
Well, Kenny Jackett's vastly experienced. I think he will have looked at this game now with 25 minutes or so to go and just thought the time's right now, because Wigan aren't controlling this game anymore. It's not like the first half. Maloney's not got on the ball at all. Kone's had no service. What a great chance to go and really try and put that pressure on, because they are rocking a little bit. Certainly the last 10 minutes has been Millwall's.
And they are playing with two up through the middle. Keogh stayed there. There have been times when he's played on the right-hand side of a three with Hulse through the middle. And someone like Chris Taylor on the left. Wigan Athletic Club record run in the FA Cup. Got to the quarter-finals in 1987. This, the first and the last four. And still in the pole position. So the first and the final itself. Just a little bit rushed by Abdu. It's going to be decided in 90. We're at the three-quarter mark, but don't bank on that happening. Millwall have upped their game. Wigan haven't been getting the likes of Gomez and Maloney on the ball as much as they did in the first half. Henry running into trouble. Abdu is there to put out that particular fire. What did he say, Danny Shitu, as he went off at the quarter-final at the end? After the win, that's what we do. And the skipper just helped them lift this game even more. They've improved in the last 10 minutes considerably. Made the tactical change. Keogh's got some company in red here, as well as a new striker. And that rather typifying the way it is for Wigan at the moment.
And Ricochet's going back to Millwall. Millwall gets it out. They're getting service up to their front players. They're now supporting those front players as well. We're going to miss placing passes. Talk about tempo in games being so important, momentum being so important. It's all with Millwall at the moment.
Slightly underclipped by St Ledger. McCarthy. Certainly not as difficult for Millwall to defend at the moment. And they have slightly changed the balance, weakened the balance of the team, if you like, in a defensive way by bringing on their second attacker. St Ledger barrelling in. Henry. Keogh asking for a penalty. Michael Oliver not giving it, nor his assistant on the far side. Kone. Maybe scope for Wigan to counter-attack. Kone's about the timing of the pass. There's no flag, the back heel from Gomez. McManaman was a little annoyed the ball didn't go to him. It's really game on now, though. McCarthy. Maloney. By whose goal in the 25th minute, Wigan still lead. McManaman. He's gone around the outside sublimely, and it's just behind Kone. And at a time where Wigan perhaps need the security of a second goal, Roberto Martinez will be frustrated that that excellent approach work by McManaman didn't in the end lead to the sort of chance that was shaping up.
Game's massively stretched now, though. Attack v defence, both ends.
Kone does keep it, an advantage played by Michael Oliver, and a good one perhaps for Wigan to exploit with Gomez. Kone this time lurking on the left. Henry. The other thing that might just be playing against Wigan is, of course, Millwall have got the greater support at the end that they're attacking. They were yelling here, the Millwall fans, for that, for a handball.
I mean, that's a little bit in vain. It's unlikely to be the way. It's so close, Sean. His arms aren't out to the side at all. Yes, you've got to appeal. Very tough for a referee to give that. Would have been incredibly harsh. The Trotter has got good physical presence coming in as well.
Well, they've obviously decided that with his fitness problems, Liam Trotter has got 20 minutes in him. Or maybe 50 minutes. They can get to extra time.
Well, they would certainly settle for that at the moment, wouldn't they, that opportunity?
Jimmy Abdu has gone off. He wants more, and you can understand why.
Well, every time they've injected some pace into their play, they've played half a yard quicker with the pass, they've got the ball out to McManaman, they look dangerous. So why not continue to do that? Play at that pace, kill the game off, don't have the worries of going into a last 15 minutes where you're really up against it and you allow the opposition just to throw everything at you in a physical sense and make the game uncomfortable for you.
Shana with a quicker pass. MacArthur. There's a space here. McManaman. Disguising his intentions that time. Maloney. It's a little bit of a response from Wigan here. Trying to heed some warning signs. And they're waiting. Almost got straight through beyond Shana. And maybe isn't the most week in, week out reliable central defender. A good footballer. Often used in midfield in his previous Wigan existence. where mistakes maybe not quite so costly.
I mean, he can play, he's got great ability, he's a good athlete, he's a strong man. But Paul Jewell couldn't ever really fully trust him at centre-half, which is why he played him mostly in midfield. And midfield is really where I think Paul, if you gave him the option, would want to play as well. As you say, once or twice today, you've just possibly made decisions that as a centre-half you have to make more naturally, do the safe thing rather than the spectacular.
This is where Wigan really do look dangerous when Manaman gets the ball. Gomez, side netting. Outside of the netting.
Well, they should look nowhere else but Callum McManaman at the moment, Wigan, because he gets into these one-on-one situations, his feet are so good. Fullback has no idea where he's going, buys himself some time. Just needs to be super clinical with that final pass.
Just established a bit more of a foothold again, Wigan. And Jordi Gomez trying to get through the middle. Dealt with well by Lowry. Trotter, who's got something of a lucky charm status about him at Wembley. He was a winner against Millwall with Scunthorpe, and a winner for Millwall against Swindon. Figueroa. MacArthur. It's Millwall. You're hearing from the left-hand end in particular. Dunn committed, and they might have a problem here. Millwall 3-on-3, but Wigan didn't play it quite right. And Beavers got across reliably.
Have they got any legs left, Millwall? That's the big test for them now. I mentioned at half-time they'd take it to 75 minutes, 1-0 down. They're at that position, but have they got anything left to give? It's been tough for them. They've chased the ball an awful lot. Wigan haven't punished them enough. It's such a critical last phase of this game.
Confirmation of the attendance, 62,335. There'll be some talk about those who aren't here. We should praise those who are, and I can understand the argument that it should be maybe at somewhere like Villa Park, but you wouldn't get 62,000 in there. You would at Old Trafford, of course. Still life in this first FA Cup semi-final of the 2012-13 campaign. It's wonderful old competition, which has given us so much drama, so much glory, and often champions the underdog. And the underdog today have a corner. Blocked in the end by Gomez. And Wigan happy to bring the ball out with Kone, and they're streaming players forward here. Only seconds having almost conceded from a corner. Jordi Gomez threads it through, and it is two. Callum McManaman. Well, that's cup football for you. A dangerous corner at one end, they just about defended, and they've got the second goal at the other. And McManaman, who has been an outstanding player for Wigan, particularly as the team performance has dropped down, he's making the right kind of headlines here.
Once again, the injection of pace. Maloney not been in the game second half, but it's this clever movement. He goes wide, that gives the fullback a problem. Look at McManaman's movement, how clever, just steps in, bit of composure. He'd look most likely in the last 5 minutes. It's a smashing pass from Gomez. Clever, sharp, good play. Horrible situation for the goalkeeper. Knows he has to commit himself. And it's whether McManaman's got the quality to take that first touch. And he has on the second. He's oh so easy. And should wrap this semi-final up for Wigan Athletic.
A scorer in the 5th round at Huddersfield, a scorer in the 6th round at Everton, and now a scorer in the semi-final at Wembley. The principles of Roberto Martinez in the end adhered to. And this might be too much even for Millwall's legendary lion-like spirit. He's up and coming.
Well,
He's been up at Millwall here.
I think he's shown enough today, hasn't he, that he's a threat. You know, he's got good movement. I've mentioned that bit of pace, and even here, look, his composure. How's his touch? Absolutely excellent. Goalkeeper fully committed, full control of the ball. Makes it look very simple, and that's what he does well. He makes the complicated parts of the game, those techniques, look very simple, and that's always the sign of a good player.
I guess some of you listening around the world will be wondering if he is related to Steve McManaman. Steve himself said, I don't know him, so that was a few months ago. There were some talk of distant relatives. Well, I think he's going to make his own name anyway. He doesn't need to trade on a surname that has been in the limelight. He played plenty of times at the old Wembley. But here come Millwall. They've got nothing to lose now. They need bodies in the box. Habsy not really asserting any great authority. Shana dealt with it. Back comes Taylor with some lovely footwork and a curler. Al-Habsi has got it out of the immediate danger, but Henry can put it back here. And another test for the goalkeeper. There's a corner. Well, after that little passage of play, you'd put the corner into his area, wouldn't you?
Good reaction from Millwall. They're not giving up. Good ball in, and he does well, Al-Habsi, for the first one. I think they've defended it well enough, but they haven't moved. You see, the defenders don't move well enough. And it just flaps, gives away the corner. Surely they have to do something here, Millwall.
Goalkeeper with a good fist, and he needed a little bit of help because that could have been volleyed straight back. McManaman got a touch, took the foul, and Wigan can reflect that with 10 minutes to go, thanks to McManaman, they're 2-0 up. See, Taylor was poised to hit that right back at the Wigan goal.
And that's the less glamorous part of the game. Once you've scored a goal, pretty much do anything for your team. He'll be feeling on top of the world right now. Big future ahead of him.
Kone. Well, it's so frustrating for Millwall now because Wigan can keep the ball, and it's a delightful touch by Maloney for Boyce. Jordi Gomez, two to his left. James McCarthy gets a foot in, and Manuel Figueroa. Kone.
It's not just the fact, Martin, that Wigan can keep the ball, the players are now confident. You know, they have that safety net. It's not going to be a fluke goal that goes in that drags Millwall back into this. They've got to score two. So suddenly the players have confidence again. They haven't got that worry, and good players with confidence, it's a dangerous combination.
Here's Trotter. Beavers. Trotter. Henry. And Hoss couldn't quite reposition. Boyce actually used his body cleverly. And a few more seconds pass, taking Wigan ever closer to a semi-final celebration. McManaman, who's really in the mood. Winced a little bit. It's a brave lad to take on Danny Shittu in a tackle like that.
And I think Danny Shittu was even surprised. He went in for it.
A little bit of that edge that was sharpening up nicely for Millwall prior to the second goal has obviously been blunted by the disappointment. Jordi Gomez. Kone has worked the width of the pitch so well. He wasn't picked out that time, but seeing his all-round game tells you what a great signing he has been for Wigan Athletic.
And that's the point I was about to make, Martin. That suddenly the pitch has gone really big again, hasn't it? Where before Millwall were getting around Wigan were giving the ball away. Suddenly there's options on everywhere. Each player's got a simple pass to make when he gets it.
So it looks as though Dave Whelan may well get the chance on an FA Cup final to lead Wigan Athletic out at Wembley.
Yeah, there's nothing more fitting than him having that opportunity. What he's done for the town, what he's done for the team. Both coaches are having a big interest in the rugby league as well. But an amazing achievement, and to have experienced it as a player with such heartbreak at the time.
You know the town really well, Matt. Will the rugby league supporters make the difference and buy the FA Cup final tickets?
No, they're a proud lot, and it's a different sport, you know. Just because you like football, you don't necessarily like cricket, and just because you like rugby league, you don't necessarily...
But you like your town.
Of course you do, of course.
And it is, of course, a small Premier League outpost, Wigan Athletic. That's why they have done so well, and we've been banging on here about Millwall being the underdogs, but Wigan are the underdogs every weekend, really, in the Premier League.
And hopefully the romance of the cup will drag one or two more in who might come to
it's a small allocation for the final, isn't it?
Absolutely, but they come enjoy that more, buy a season ticket. So all those things obviously help.
Well, selling some cup final merchandise also helps as well, and maybe one or two of the commercial members of the staff probably pondering.
They might get a new suit.
They might have to wear red, of course, in the final. There'll be another toss, because a team in blue will be coming through the second semi tomorrow. Chelsea or Manchester City.
Well, it's no real secret that Roberto up to this point had hated the red. Didn't particularly mention it in the commentary, but had hated it. I'm sure wouldn't have worn it today had there been any other choice. There hasn't been, but that's another hoodoo that's now hopefully over.
Habsy has had some nervous moments. There's some issues here that we perhaps don't want to be seeing. Millwall, of course, have worked so hard to try and make themselves a family club. Here is Kone trying to finish them off. Maybe Ford's had a strange career as an Irishman. He played in Wales, non-league football in Wales, then played some league football in Wales, some non-league football elsewhere, went back to Ireland, won the Cup, the FAI Cup with Derry City. Short corner. Maloney. And that's the last thing Rob Holtz wants to be doing, defending like that.
Well, they had a chance, didn't they, Millwall? They had that passage of play that we knew they would have at some point. Didn't really manage to fashion too many clear chances. Set pieces have always been the best way for them, but the second goal so timely for Wigan.
Case of running down the clock now, although Maloney's got a few to aim for in the middle. The Sharma is saying, why not? Give me a chance to score here. Gomez might make it even easier. Try to score himself. Well, Sean Batt would be amazed that he's involved in the semi-final. He was on loan Leyton Orient till only a few days ago. Well, this is besmirching the occasion. Goodness knows what's ignited it. Bats coming on for Andy Keogh, has run himself to a standstill. There's been a Wigan change as well. The arrival of one of their loanees, Angelo Enriquez, from Manchester United, and is out here on his 19th birthday.
Well, not the worst present. I'm sure he can enjoy his evening now as well.
It's McManaman who's gone off. As many touches of the ball as he can. Lowry takes. Kone, who's been everywhere, be a candidate to be man of the match for the work he's put in. I guess McManaman's probably edged him with a goal. But a proper shift from Kone.
We talk about Keogh going off exhausted, and Kone plays up there on his own. And he comes up against those sort of pressures, but he has that physical strength, he has that ability of touch. Saw can create the first goal with a very, very good pass, but clever, intricate play that had led up to it as well. It's been a great find, and we're going to have to shop in markets that are not necessarily as competitive as the others. So Kevin Reeves and his staff have to go out and scour the world. And the boys that have come in from Scotland as well make such an impact.
Gomez. Michael Oliver has ruled without recourse to the cards. Signature got a booking in the first half. On the field, Millwall will put up the right kind of fight. Their supporters can't say the same about.
Well, are they really the supporters? I think you have to embrace everybody that's come and supported in the right vein. A great turnout. Hopefully everyone gets home safely now. It's just a game of football at the end of it.
Halfway through the 3 added minutes. Haven't been as good in the second half as they were in the first. Millwall obviously trying to repair the damage of going in at half-time, a goal down. There is the booking here for Shane Lowry.
Still not sure Kenny Jackett would have done too much differently. Probably knew that he was going to have to sacrifice possession in the game. Knew that the side they were up against had good quality. They hadn't got stretched. The goals, certainly the first goal was preventable, wasn't it? That's the difference. It was a difficult goal at a difficult time to give away, but he knew they'd have a spell, and it was just whether they could score. Probably it was going to be from a set piece. Just never quite managed to fashion that chance.
Actually, a player I didn't mention has got the sponsors man of the match, Sean Maloney, set Wigan on their way, and whose movement off the ball played a part in the second goal as well.
Yeah, he's an honest boy. I'm sure he would much have preferred to have the influence he had in the first half, in the second as well. Went missing for long periods, but he's certainly come up with some vital contributions in the last couple of weeks, and needs to continue to do so for the rest of this season for Wigan.
Wigan Athletic have won their first FA Cup semi-final, and Roberto Martinez